The Integrity OCTANE Series turns back the clock and goes to one of its very first car track combinations. In the spring of 2023, we ventured to the Rock and
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.
Boundless makes its presence felt. It will not be ignored. We're helping turn ideas into reality with a wealth of building products that take every architectural style to the next level. This is what it's like to imagine, build, and transform anything we want into exactly what we seek. This is what it means to be boundless.
Once again, welcome back, race fans, to the World Center of Racing, Daytona National Speedway, as we get set for our second on-track activity today.
Racing requires everything that you've got. Climbing into NASCAR on Sunday, it feels like you're getting ready to go into battle.
When I hit that ignition switch, that car fires up. It's one of the best things in the world.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to The Rock. Just moments away now from your starting grid as we head to the Rockingham Speedway for our 7th race of the 2025 Integrity OCTANE Series season. We are in for a thrill. More than 30 drivers have registered at this 1-mile venue. Now to introduce your starting grid one by one. Drivers are lining up now to the inside of your front straightaway, the iRacing official pace car, with the honors, of course, to get things started. Defending winner Jared Davis was last week in the Ignite Series. Not able to get the job done last week, of course, to defend that trophy, but he's looking again for a victory, this time by in the Tuesday Night Tour. From your top to bottom, this is the starting grid for the Integrity OCTANE Series at the Rockingham Speedway. Jared Davis finds himself on the pole position inside of row number 1. Next to him tonight will be Nick Tarbuck starting in second in the number 4. Tarbuck looking to keep the good times rolling, fought for a podium last night, and he's up at the front of the field once again. You'll then have third place in Sam Nieto, Nate Campbell in fourth place, Ethan Lane 6th, Ryan Bean in 7th alongside Blake Cannon. To end the top 10, it'll be Kyle Trudell, Nolan Potter, and Don Stevenson. From then on out, outside the top 10, you've got 11th place in Nicholas Ward, 12th place in Woody Mahan, 13th Cody Smith, Zach Scrintinol 14th, Ross Cato 15th, Galen Gidman 16th, Bobby Keith is 17th, with Aaron Eads, Daniel Foss, and Matt Janas rounding out the top 10. To your top 25, it's Brian Perry, Matt Sisler, Josh Gallagher, John DeBarro, Eli Cars. Then you'll have Brian Greenlee, Sean Kalist, Kevin Bernheimer, Jay Heishman, and Richard Smith for 30th. Lastly, for 31st place, Randy Fiash, and 32nd, Chad Dillon in the Dude Wipes number 32. Pole position time, a 24.041, run by Jared Davis. Top of the board by just about 101 one-thousandths of a second. Davis just barely taking the pole position, but it's just enough to make it count. The iRacing official pace car will let loose, and it'll be Jared Davis in control. This time by. Welcome back to the Rock high-speed circuit with high-power cars. Davis and Tarbuck are your front row. They'll stack up outside. They're wrecking. Your front row wrecks on the first lap of the race. Jared Davis, Nick Tarbuck, first and second, around in the first seconds. Can you believe it? Caution's out. And in a horrible turn of events, Davis was good on the inside, and you can see immediate replay. They stack up on the high side with Nick Tarbuck. Then Davis is turned by Sam Nieto. Tarbuck goes up the track, hits Nate Campbell, slides further. Jared Davis is involved. Ryan Bean goes sliding. And this multi-car conundrum begins at the front of the field. Then collects Woody Mahan. Mahan gets into Galen Gidman. Cody Smith spins down on the bottom. Matt Jonas with the T-bone. Smack into the number 26. Horrible wreck early. Brian Perry slams the inside wall, and he'll come back up into Cody Smith. T-bone there. Your front row drivers who started the race first and second are now scored 14th and 30th respectively in timing and scoring. Tarbuck's night might be effectively over. You can see he's got right front suspension damage that is critical on that front end, and that is detrimental. At the very least, it is going to be many laps down. All the while, Jared Davis is now 19th, and he's coming down to pit road with less damage, but notably he also has a pounding on his right front, and 2 race-winning chances, bar a miracle, have been taken away from your front runners in qualifying. They'll sit first and second on pit road, potentially for the rest of the night. Interestingly enough, Ethan Lane, the last time the Next Gens went to Rockingham in this series, he was the race winner. And already, by lap 2, we find ourselves in this position again. Ethan Lane, the number 6, will lead the way. You'll have Blake Cannon second, Nate Campbell third, Nolan Potter fourth, Kyle Trudell P5. And so we'll line up once again, double file to get back to business here. Lane's going to have himself to the point. The iRacing official pace car will then be there with. And so now, we'll see what happens with our brand new front row. Different drivers and hopefully not the same story after a lap 1 front straightaway caution, perhaps the quickest that we have yet to see. The field will return green, this time by with Ethan Lane at the helm. Lane on the bottom, Blake Cannon is up top. Now, the iRacing official pace car setting low once more. Let's see who has it in store. To the inside goes the pace car. Lane's got it on the bottom. Blake Cannon is up top. Green flags out for an immediate restart. Lap number 5, we are back on the way. Lane is in control. Ethan Lane to the point, and he's got himself up there now, hanging strong, 6 laps in, and taking these first green flag laps in stride. It's going to be largely a single file ordeal from there. You'll see Cannon ducking down to the inside groove. He's got himself running low, and of course everyone now trying to find that optimal groove. It looks like for the time being, one groove at the front of the field, and it extends all the way back. Early troubles in the front, the mid-pack looks to be just fine. There is Ross Cato. He finds himself now running in the number 12, just to the inside on Chad Dillon. Dillon with a strong start by virtue of all the shuffling. He went from 32nd up to 20th in those opening laps. And that's all it took, avoiding a wreck to gain more than 10 positions, and Chad Dillon's now got a shot inside the top 20. Dylan gonna head up high, smack the wall, and it looks like all that progress now sees a problem. Dylan's gonna fade back, the right side is smacked. That's been where all the critical damage has been for all of our race-winning contenders. Notably, you saw the issue come to light for the driver of the number 4, Nick Tarbuck, the right front for suspension. It seems to be rather sensitive to any contact, and it happens once again in just that way. We'll see whether or not Dylan can make good use of it. One down to the inside groove, everyone gets away. Just behind Ross Cato now, that was Eli Carr's. Carr's gonna slide ever so slightly. Looks like he's gonna recover. It'll be just enough now to put himself back in the picture, going toe-to-toe with an ailing Jared Davis. Davis is up to 21st from all the way in the back of the field. However, it's no use compared to where he started. He is far behind where he'd like to be. Ten laps in out of 150, and we're getting back to the high-speed action of the Rockingham Speedway. Last night we went racing in the Milwaukee Mile, another mile-long circuit, slightly longer laps in terms of time. Nevertheless, it seems like right now for Blake Cannon and his number 44, he's got himself made up in front. He was part of last night's event. He found himself on an alternate strategy. Teammate Tom Wetmore ended up fighting for the podium. One going up the track! It's Daniel Foss. We stay green, 4 wide, right down the front straightaway with the ailing number 83 at the top of it. He was slow, they passed him. Here's what happened. A 1-lap replay for Daniel Foss, and it looks like he's got significant damage. Daniel was down on the bottom, making it through turns 3 and 4, and it looks like he slipped out from under him, independent of anyone else. Shot up high, luckily did not miss Sam Nieto, and now he's going to find himself all the way at the back of the field. To the inside, for 28th position, another driver with critical damage. Daniel Foss is going to have to go down and in, and hopefully he won't park it. Blake Cannon got himself the lead of a quarter of a second. Now Nate Campbell will be P2. Kyle Trudell gets up into 3rd, and Trudell running strong to start. With the absence now of both Tarbuck and Jared Davis, it appears that number 84's got himself one final chance to get back up inside the podium on the day. He took it, and we'll see what he can do from here. We say final because so intense is the competition here in the Integrity OCTANE Series. You really don't know when you'll have that next chance, and it looks like, tentatively speaking, 15 laps in out of 150, well, he's gotten the shot, and the last time we saw him up here fighting for a top 5 finish was Atlanta, which ended up going Jacob Fife's way. Fife getting the job done in a shocker of a victory. Kyle has proven strong at the mile-and-a-half circuits and already is pulling his weight to start today. We'll see what he can do from here. He's only just gotten things to grips, as has your new race leader, Blake Cannon. Ethan Lane found himself at the front to start this one, but you'll see he too has fallen back. Lane now finds himself 3 laps down and out of this race, and it looks like, by virtue of falling back, we're taking a multi-lap replay now on Lane. He has right side damage in this replay, which shows again, crinkling up that right front is game over. And he ended up going down to pit road on his own accord, and the leader is now Blake Cannon without competition. "18 laps in, Blake Cannon now leading the majority of which. Nate Campbell to the high side. You'll see Kyle Trudell working down low. And as it stands, Nolan Potter's going to find himself also 9th to 6th. Some gains for drivers we don't often see inside the top 10 include John DeBarro, 24th to 10th. He's run strong before, but qualifying today, not to his liking. Nevertheless, up 14 spots on the day. Then you'll have up 8th and Bobby Keith. You'll have a total now of 3 spots gained for Don Stevenson, 10th to 7th, just by avoiding the early incident. And now everyone in their rhythm. 26 drivers on the lead lap, going all the way back to Randy Fiash now. He's about 14 seconds off the race lead. see now whether or not Blake Cannon as leader can catch up to some of those lapper guys coming across the line once again. Cannon leading now more than 15 laps in this 20-lap feature. He got it by Ethan Lane. He has not looked back since, but someone who's only looking further up in front is the number 45 of Nate Campbell. Campbell now inching further each and every time through, and it looks like right about now that number 45 is gaining still. Blake Cannon's got to watch his back. Nate Campbell is making gains. Campbell getting closer and closer progressively now to the back end of that number 44. Blake so far, of course, leading and getting away by virtue of that first caution, but it looks like tonight with a smaller field than what we're used to, and many drivers already retiring and parking it thanks to damage, we're going to have a good opportunity to see green flag racing flourish as the night progresses. Such is the notion of Nate Campbell's style right now. The number 45 is working well. Inside is, of course, Blake Cannon still putting down blocks consistently. Taking a look from the back end of Cannon now, you'll see how tight it is. On the backside now of that Tube Tech number 44, Blake Cannon again working well with Nate Campbell here at the front of the field. Roadhouse Racing and its flagship driver, well, it looks like now Tom Wetmore, their flagship, out of the race, but their newest acquisition doing great work. And this is what this two-car team is setting out to do all year long. Two cars, shall we say, between Wetmore and Cannon. It's a bigger enterprise overall, but tonight, it's going to be Roadhouse Racing held down by Blake Cannon. Last night, he sacrificed himself for the alternate strategy, and then from there, of course, didn't work out for the best of finishes. Wetmore got fourth. Cannon had to settle and fall back later, which gave more of a championship lead to Thomas Bresci. Blake right now runs second in the Ignite Series standings. That is his primary focus for a championship, but a win tonight wouldn't hurt in the slightest. Nate Campbell is still looking for a big win. Number 45 is yet to break out. We've seen Scott Eckrich pull off 2 consecutive. We've seen Ethan Lane make it happen. And even still, we've seen guys like Jacob Fife surprise us, and Tom Wetmore as well. Nate Campbell looking to get that piece of the pie and become the next man to do so. Currently, it appears that the number 45 is not quite there. Getting closer, however, it looks like he's lost a tenth or two in the last 5 laps. He was within 15/100ths of a second, now back 4 tenths. Sam Nieto right now 3rd to 8th after getting involved ever so slightly in that first incident. He slid down to the bottom of the circuit, was lucky not to get any critical damage, and now he's back on the way, although of course he was one of the initiators of that contact. Restart mayhem has prompted several retirements. We've seen 4 drivers officially quit from the track tonight. Now, Richard Smith is the leading man 1 lap down. He finds himself there in the 27th position as Ryan Bean, Ethan Lane, Daniel Foss, and Brian Perry have all backed out, and it looks like Nick Tarbuck got himself on the circuit 1 lap down, although his damage is still major, and as you can see, that number 4 is going to be heading up high. All the while, Blake Cannon to the bottom now, and that's going to be a big move for the number 44. Cannon gets through. Nick Tarbuck heads up to the top, and he's going to continue to let it slide. Unfortunately, that's all he can do now, trying to limp around the circuit to maintain as many positions as possible, but 28th place in his best case scenario currently. He's going to have to wait for that attrition game to unfold, but with drivers now running calmer after that opening incident, highly doubtful that will be the case. Looking at some closer battles throughout the mid-pack, you'll see Sam Nieto getting by Don Stevenson in the upper midfield. Nolan Potter getting closer on Zach Skrithenol. This would be for 4th. Currently, the number 34 of Potter is staying right behind Zach. The lap car of Nick Tarbuck provided an opportunity, but it doesn't look like it worked out all too well to make do for the driver of the number 34. Potter stays behind. Scrintinol has the advantage. And so far, it looks like anyway, Scrintinol having one of his best races. He's gained 10 positions to this point. When it comes to that major advantage in qualifying, he didn't have it. But wreck avoidance again, saving him as it did Chad Dillon. That's the opportunity you have to look out for when you're a driver who might not be the best and you might struggle with that one-lap pace. It's all about the long term when it comes to our usual racing style, and Scrintinol right now, he's getting away from Nolan Potter, as you can see. 5th place now for Nolan, and he's dropping back while Nicholas Ward aims to get closer and closer once more. "34 laps in, out of 150. John Navarro, 24th to 11, still capturing a majority of his significant gains. 28th to 15th is Kevin Bernheimer. Bernheimer running a modest night so far in that Ford Mustang, and it appears that his gains are substantial. Although he's still only in the middle of the field, as it stands anyway, that Ford Mustang is having trouble, in course, catching up to Ross Cato. But I don't think that's his biggest concern now. He's made so many gains immediately that it's about time that we see drivers heading to it and getting in that long-term mentality. 36 laps in out of 150, cautions out for the second time. Upside down is Sean Kalist. Shades of Carl Long in 2004, Kalist flips and lands on his front once again. Take a look at this. Kalist with a dramatic incident down the back straightaway. Up high, Eli Carr's just ahead. Haishman ends up barreling into Kalist and sends him flip side, and he skates down the entire back straightaway and comes back right side up. Take a look at this instant replay. Flipped, and luckily for Kalist anyway, he ends up right back where he should be, on all fours. But with that, he has a lot of damage and got pounded in on that left side. We'll see whether or not he can get back on the lead lap anytime soon. The field comes into pit road, led now by Blake Cannon. Time to figure out who's got what it takes as strategy calls become the talk of the town. You'll see Kyle Trudell, you'll see Cannon, now there's Nate Campbell, Sam Nieto, Nick Tarbuck. Still trying to get that damage repaired is Jared Davis as well. But it's very likely now that Blake Cannon, as he entered first, will exit first. It's going to be Cannon, then it'll be immediately after Kyle Trudell, Nate Campbell, Ryan Potter, Zach Scrintinol, and Nicholas Ward. To end the top 10, Sam Nieto, Don Stevenson, and Bobby Keith. Cannon is the winner off pit road. Yellow flag is out once more. Second time today after a 35-lap run, give or take. Now we have ourselves back at a standstill, that time by for a violent incident involving the number 82 of Eli Carr's and the 90 of Sean Kalist. Kalist is getting extensive damage repairs now. It appears that's going to be the theme for the day. A lot of guys getting pounded up on their left or right side to the extreme suspension damage, tearing cars apart. Watch out, that's going to be a killer as the night goes on. One lap to green. 25 on the lead lap now. Jared Davis, one of the last of which, he just got with the field once again, and it looks like he is still fighting for a shot to win this one. More and more damage repaired, and he's got himself mostly a buffed out front end, but there's still going to be some damage that cannot be fixed as the night goes on. We'll see what Jared can do as Blake Cannon now holds control on the bottom, and Kyle Trudell is right up top once again. Now, a chance for the number 7 of Trudell to break out for the lead or for Cannon to retain his advantage. Green flags out, restart number 2, Cannon with a nice jump. Blake now with a car length. Then you'll have Nate Campbell, Kyle Trudell, Zach Scrintinel, Nolan Potter, and up top goes the number 34. Potter now going to be sent 3 wide, and he's sent in the backwards direction. Side by side, Cody Smith, and you'll see Ross Cato to the low groove. Kevin Bernheimer 28th to 12th now, and we last saw him in 15th, so he's gained a total of 16th positions. An amazing race now for Bernheimer and an opportunity for the top 10 watching Galen Gidman. Bernheimer watching. Galen Gidman heads up to the high side here, trying to make something happen on the number 38 of Brian Greenlee. He gets a shot down Thunder Alley. Took a while, but he takes that momentum from the high side and brings it down low. That is Galen Gidman making his move, getting it all the way to the point for position number 10. Gidman enters the top 10. The battle for the race lead is just about as intense. 3 drivers now. Nate Campbell to the bottom. Kyle Trudell chasing leader Blake Cannon. Cannon has the advantage. And for Campbell and Trudell, both drivers alike are hanging on. At the line, Cannon to the point again. Little bit of contact with the wall. Brief, we saw it there from Kyle Trudell, and it doesn't look like it's going to cause any issues. To the inside, Kyle Trudell once again. This time he's got room and has a chance to surge down the front straightaway. Oh, loose! Kyle Trudell up the track. He'll slide. The number 7 goes around spinning at the start of lap 45. The caution is out. Trudell kept a hang of it, as you can see there. Nobody else getting involved, but a safety caution regardless. From second and fighting for the lead, they're backing it down and now being scored in the 12th position. Kyle Trudell brings out the caution, and so we are pacing for the 3rd time tonight. Restart number 3 coming up at about lap number 49 now. Kyle's going to get himself sorted out, and it looks like he made ever so slight contact there, briefly anyway, with the wall, or rather the apron, and luckily he didn't make any contact with the wall, but as he tapped the apron and went under the paint, it ended up shifting the balance of his number 7, and so Kyle right now finds himself in the mid-pack. All the while, Blake Cannon and Nate Campbell have a shot to go at it again. Campbell's call on pit road, he too will stay out. Patiently, the field gets back to grips with itself. Blake Cannon, Nate Campbell at the front of the field could have been collected. Luckily, no significant overcorrection from Kyle Trudell. He did a great job in locking it down and getting it away from everyone else. And that means now the field is ready to go back racing. We're about a third of the way through tonight's event in a very quick matter of time. The Rockingham Speedway often gives that opportunity for fast racing, especially under green. But it also means that strategy is going to come and go pretty quick today. When we talk about the Rock, there's a lot to discuss in terms of those strategic calls. Let's talk about one thing that always impacts the race pace and strategy. That, of course, is the weather. As we look overhead, the Rockingham Speedway tonight, track temperature is going to be sizzling at 111 degrees Fahrenheit. However, ambient temperature is pretty good right now, coming in at 79 degrees. As it stands, winds will be southwest bound at 5 miles an hour, relative humidity coming in at 13%, and it is mostly sunny for the time being. According to our forecast, that's the way it's going to stay until about 3 hours from now. By that point, In the session anyway, the drivers will have packed it up and they won't have to worry about the cloudiness, at least for the time being. It looks like it's going to stay sunny all throughout. That means that, as it stands, if the drivers keep on pushing the way they are under green, the track is going to get slicker and it's going to get a little bit more challenging to hang on with grip. That's why what happened to Kyle Trudell, of course, was inevitable for some driver to make that mistake, but unfortunate that for Trudell, while pushing for the lead, he was the man who made it. Coming to lap number 49 and our third restart. Here we go again. Green flags out. Contact in the second row. Sam Nieto, Zach Scrintinol. That'll slow down Zach and it will accordion the rest of the field. The front and the mid-pack, all of which collecting one another. Luckily, not collecting for contact, but getting real close to each other and bunching up once again. That could have been horrible. Luckily, everyone else holds it down very well. You'll see right now, Cody Smith a little bit further back than he would like to be. Smith, of course, involved in the first incident on the day, and he's alongside guys now. As you can see, Woody Mahan, Eli Cars, Brian Greenlee. Off the wall, no contact there, but it was close for Bobby Keith as Cody Smith is now making those gains. To the front of the field again, Sam Nieto goes side by side with Nicholas Ward, who has really come alive as of late. Top 10 finish last night, podium finish in the Integrity Ignite Series last week, and he's running top 5 as it stands. .51 laps in out of 150. Blake Cannon neck and neck now for the race lead. At the line, the 44 of Cannon's got the edge. The 45 of Campbell's got it down on the bottom. You'll see here, Zach Scrintinol is getting closer as the leading drivers are coming at each other. This will give Zach a better and better chance as he comes down Thunder Alley to get into the race leading picture. Take a ride on board in your third place driver. Scrintinol now is looking to enter the top 2. Scrintinol loose, coming out of turn 4. That's going to give Campbell and Blake Cannon again a slight advantage. These two have been nearly picture perfect so far today. Nate Campbell's gotten close to Blake Cannon on every green flag run we've had, but he hasn't been able to pass. He's closed the gap, he's gotten it real tight, but it doesn't mean he has the opportunities just yet to make the move down to the inside or up to the outside. However he'd like to go about it, it hasn't happened yet. And for the number 45 of Campbell, that is his biggest weakness right now. Leading the way, the number 44 of Cannon's got it made, but Nate Campbell is about as close as it gets. So the fight continues. Galen Gidman, Kyle Trudell, and Don Stevenson. Stevenson currently going to be inside the top 10 as he qualified up one spot on the day, and Kevin Bernheimer gets his chance up in the top 10. Bernheimer up 18, but he'll be pressured now by Ross Cato. Ross heads to the bottom, Cody Smith coming with, and then you'll have Jared Davis in a 1-2-3 conundrum. Not only is Davis now getting his spots back, but Bernheimer, from a high of inside the top 10, has to relinquish multiple positions. Not at all what these drivers would like to do now if they're in the mid-pack, losing spots as we approach the halfway point. Strategy again is already involved, cautions, but if we go the rest of the way under green, we still need one more pit stop. So every stop will matter before we get to that pit cycle. And hanging on for a top 5 position is great, but the drivers who are clawing at it for outside the top 10, they need every position they can get. To the inside, Nate Campbell for the lead. Campbell looks low. cannot capitalize on the matter. At the stripe again, Blake Cannon has the edge. Cannon finding himself right now working that defense to a T. Nate Campbell has tried multiple times to make it stick. To get that race lead, he's gone down to the bottom, he's gone up top, he's tried just about everything that he can think of. Currently, it appears that, simply put, Cannon is outperforming him. Blake is yet to win in the Octane Series so far this season. Gotten it done twice in the Ignite Series, but for the time being, he is still winless in the Tuesday Night Tour, the site of his first Integrity Racing League win, the Octane Series. But since that point, he's put up 3 Ignite Series victories, 1 last year, 2 this year, and he's looking now for a chance to add to that catalog of victories and go for what would be his 5th ever Integrity Racing League win. Nate Campbell's going to stay second, Zach Scrintinol third. You'll have 4th place running in Sam Nieto, and Nicholas Ward is P5. John DeBarro, Kyle Trudell, Nolan Potter, Galen Gidman, and Don Stevenson all run in succession. And for the time being here, as Gidman goes up top, it'll be Don Stevenson making it down low once again. This is the fight now for the 9th position. Stevenson is back where he qualified, exactly in 10th place. And it looks like he is comfortable enough in that position right now to hold it. 62 laps in out of 150, getting very close now to our halfway marker. Watching Ross Cato getting close again to Cody Smith. 15th to 12th on the day for Cato after a great race last week. Simply put, Ross Cato looking for that lightning in the bottle to strike once again, and he got himself his best finish of the season with a standout performance last week. Getting up to 4th place at the Homestead Miami Speedway, Cato has proven time and again that in the clutch, he can make things happen. Last week was an example of just that. He was barely outside of the podium, just beat by Nick Tarbuck, but now it looks like scraping into the top 10 is the goal on the day. Cato stays P12. Jared Davis, amid the damage-filled race, he's up to 13th once again from falling back outside the top 25. Not a horrible place to be. Still a lot of improvements absolutely are necessary. But that number 19 can keep on fighting, and it won't be game over until he says so. Davis coming across the line once again. It's now going to be lap number 66. Runs only 3 seconds off of your race leaders. If something cataclysmic were to occur, who's to say that Jared Davis is really out of the running for victory? It isn't technically untrue to say that he's out of it. We'll see what happens from here anyway. Contact briefly, John DeBarro, Kyle Trudell. DeBarro's going to find himself now ahead of Galen Gidman, defending up high. It's close now in the mid-pack, but even closer for the race lead. Less than 1/10 of a second between your top 2 drivers. Campbell is right there. And notably, Zach Scrintinol is a 1/4 of a second back on the both of them. And if anyone makes a mistake here, anyone makes the wrong move, it will be reflected and fast. And that's something that Cannon has to concern himself with. It's something that Nate Campbell especially has to concern himself with. Both drivers right now are at the dead end of the road when it comes to facing off against Zach. There's nowhere else to run, nowhere else to hide. Any minor contact could either give away the lead to the number 20 or take them all 3 out outright, which of course we saw with our lap 1 caution where your front row qualifiers had problems. And still, Blake holds dominantly. Taking a look back to that mid-pack again, these drivers are separated by thousandths of seconds. Ross Cato now is looking to get from 11th last time by up to 9th place at the line. 2 spots gained, getting by Cody Smith and Nolan Potter. And now, Ross Cato is making that top groove work fantastically. The Fast Forward Esports Ford Mustang, careening down the back straightaway, comes through and now chases Don Stevenson. Kyle Trudell looking to do more of the same. Recovering from his most recent incident, sliding across the circuit, it looks like Trudell getting back inside the top 10 fight, but not staying definitively in the top 10. And we'll see what happens now with Jared Davis making his way. Davis low, and it looks like Trudell bottling, and as such, he's going to fall back a spot. Kyle Trudell now going to be running in 13th, Jared Davis up to 12th, and considering the nature of his damage early, with that right front suspension damage, it's a shocker, of course, not only that he's been able to make these moves, but also that he's doing so consistently. He's in the bottom half of the top 10 fight, yes, not where he would like to be, but a great recovery in a race that seemed to be all for naught for this number 19. 24th to 6th. Biggest mover on the day, John DeBarro, getting from just barely inside the top 25 to firmly now inside the top 10. The 61's got a lot of work to do from here, but this opening half has proven to be one of going the up and up direction for the 61, and I think that's something that is a major positive for a driver who has shown those flashes of brilliance, but has not yet fully capitalized on each and every one of them. But a night like this, making such big gains will be pivotal. DeBarro stays behind Galen Gidman. Don Stevenson now getting closer to John, but that's also because of the pressure being placed by Ross Cato. Brief contact at the line. Cato surges through. That would have been for 8th if Ross could have stuck it. Ross in the number 12, holding it down to the bottom. And he's kept it there for a full lap. Don Stevenson surging up high. Nolan Potter, more of the same. 75 laps in out of 150. You're seeing the train on the top side following Stevenson, but the momentum shifts, and Ross Cato's got the edge. He's got his nose out into 1 and 2, and that looks like a position. Stevenson cannot get back. Ross Cato is clear. Contact again. Nolan Potter in the Don Stevenson. Potter very close there to making an issue of it. The number 34 now gets loose, and he'll head down to the bottom, giving up to Cody Smith 10th place. Now that we're halfway through, we've got half of this race remaining. That gives us 74 laps to go, and this first half has come through rapidly. If the field remains green, we're looking at one of the fastest races of the season, which doesn't give a lot of time for strategy to unfold naturally. That's not going to be something that helps out these guys with good long-run cars like Ross Cato. Even if he gets those next 73 laps, he can only gain a good 2 or 3 spots with the distances already established. That time by a 25.2 for Ross Cato, a 24.934 for Blake Cannon. He's not as quick as the leaders, but he's running consistently well around fiercer competition. And we say fiercer competition in the mid-pack because there's just more drivers to deal with, whereas Cannon and Campbell have each other alone. Up high is that 61. And really close to losing it, John DeBarro coming with the number 18 of Cody Smith. Cody Smith now getting as high as 7th place. He's gone from 10th up to 7th in the past 5 laps. And Next Level Racing represented well tonight by their 2022 champion, brand ambassador. We'd like to thank our premier partners at the Integrity Racing League. First and foremost, Next Level Racing. For high-quality sim racing performance products meant for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best. Next Level Racing has been with us since the beginning of the Integrity Racing League on FTN and is with us to this day. If you'd like to check out their products with a discount, use promo code INTEGRITY24 at checkout on nextlevelracing.com and scan the QR code on your screen to check out their wide array of sim racing hardware. And we'd like to thank our new partner at SimMotion for stepping aboard on the year and helping us out in bringing further content to FTN Broadcasting and the Integrity Racing League pipeline. SimMotion has come aboard for 2025 and beyond as one of of the newest up-and-coming sim racing vendors worth your while. Visit their website at us-sim.motion.com and use promo code Integrity. 5% off for savings on all checkouts and purchases. We thank you again, of course, for tuning in to tonight's coverage from the Rockingham Speedway, courtesy of Sim Motion and Next Level Racing. Let's get back to the action. Blake Cannon currently leads the way by 0.6 of a second, and the gap is ever expanding. Cannon, Campbell, and then you'll see Sam Nieto. Nieto back up to his qualifying position, and it only took him about 84 laps to do so. Didn't start the race strong, of course, getting involved in that lap number 1 incident. First straightaway, first contact, he hit your pole sitter in Davis, and that set off the chain reaction. Luckily for Nieto's sake, he was able to get away, and now he's back up inside the top 3 seconds ahead of the Hornet's Nest further on back. It's getting closer. Nicholas Ward and Zach Scrintinol, and Nieto's got an opportunity now for second place as leading Blake Cannon continues to drive away. Cannon's got it out in his own world, but it looks like now Campbell might be fading back, and he might just lose a spot. Number 45 of Campbell's got to look out now on the backside. Here comes the number 2. And now, no longer behind, Sam Nieto is up there, driver number 2 for second place. Campbell to pit road for the final time tonight. He'll take his final pit stop early here with 64 laps to go. He'll be one of the first leaders to come in. An interesting call for the number 45. Nate Campbell is going to drop into pit road. Nobody else with him. And it looks like right now he'll be the one lonely down there. The rest of the field deciding to stay out for the time being. 63 laps to go. Blake Cannon from Thunder Alley here. He's got it made. He's coming up on the lappers. Doesn't have to concern himself at all about the drivers behind him. He just has to slowly but surely make his moves around the guys up in front. Sam Nieto will be promoted up in a second. Cody Smith up to third. Now we're seeing drivers make it in. Zach Scrintinol just went in that time by. Campbell we mentioned before. Watch on the left side of your screen to see that last pit lap metric. If a driver has a last pit lap of 38, they went in last at a caution. If they go in recently, you'll know. Zach Scrintinol on the timing screen is right now scored in 23rd, and he went in at lap number 87. Nicholas Ward went in at 88. And it looks like now he's on his way, just getting out of pit road. The newer the number, the higher the number, and vice versa. So we got new rubber now entering the field in the final stretch here in Rockingham. Blake Cannon might be one of the many to come up next, but he has not decided yet on going down and in. He looks rather comfortable in his position here, and I don't think he's going to give it up unless he absolutely has to. 91 laps in, the majority of the top 10, of course, still staying out. Campbell leading the wave of drivers on new rubber who are trying to make a change. Blake Cannon still has the overall race lead. Sam Nieto is going to be running right now in P2. Cody Smith for third. Kyle Trudell in fourth. Jared Davis fifth. Galen Gidman sixth place. Ross Cato seventh. Don Stevenson eighth. John DeBarro, P9, and Woody Mahan rounds out the top 10. That's the way they roll with 59 laps remaining at the front of the field, but expect that to be, of course, subject to change. Simply put, with 58 remaining here, I'm not expecting to see this top 10 the way it is by the time we get to the checkered flag. While I do expect to see guys like Cody Smith and Kyle Trudell with an opportunity for the top 10, I think right now you're looking at the new top 10 down in the one lap down category. Nate Campbell, Scrintinol, Ward, Nolan Potter, these are the drivers that you have to look out for. as running up front when it comes down to they're looking for crunch time. They're looking for the clutch time. They went in early. They're getting their fast laps in. The end goal for the undercut crew, who go down to pit road early, is to get the advantage with fresher tire to begin with, take those quicker laps, and let pit road ride out. "56 laps to go. Kevin Bernheimer right there, passed by Nolan Potter. And with Potter making his way by, that's going to be 22nd place he's chasing after now. He just got up to P23. Matt Janas getting off of pit road. Matt is now 1 lap down in the 22nd position. Nicholas Ward, 21st. Zach Scrintonall in 20th. Now we've got only 12 drivers on the lead lap as another heads down and into pit road. You'll see Sam Nieto making his move in the number 2. Nieto at the line, taking himself to pit road. Galen Gidman now on the way out. 55 laps to go. Here comes the number 2 for his final stop of the day. Gotta watch out now for Blake Cannon. Last time he went down to pit road was just about 60 laps ago. There is no concern now of drivers making it to the end based on strategy. That will not be a worry. The bigger issue is something that I think comes down to the strategy split more than the raw numbers. Does the undercut group, which is slowly but surely extending, have what it takes over Blake Cannon? Last time we saw this all play out, 2023, Ethan Lane under green went 1 lap down, went in for tires, got his lap back, and won the race outright. An unbelievable performance. We won't see that replicated today because everyone's going into pit road for that final safety run. But that gives Cannon a little bit less of a hurdle to climb than what we saw out of Lane. Now, it doesn't mean anything, of course. It's a different race with different drivers, but Cannon has to think about it. He will be propelled far back. But as a result, the big issue becomes more so now, what can the 44 do on his ascent up? It's going to be a problem, of course, to be put far behind, but when he has new equipment, it will not be easy for anyone else to defend him. We'll see what happens. Time is going to be placed against the number 44. His weapon, new rubber. And up at the front of the field now, you'll only see 8 holdouts who are on the lead lap. Brian Greenlee is the last of which, who is now 1 lap down, who hasn't gone through. And then you'll see Matt Sisler, Nate Campbell, Zach Scrintonall. Jared Davis is now signaling that he is pitting in this time by from 3rd place in the running with 50 laps to go. Richard Smith was the previous driver to signal, and it looks like now the number 19 is the next man to do so. He'll decide to go down Thunder Rally, and this time slow it down for a final entry. Davis to the bottom. He's got it made for his final pit stop of the day. Blake Cannon remaining out is quite a shock now, but we will see what happens. For the first time all throughout this stint, Nate Campbell now and the new Tire Brigade are in the top 10. Campbell pokes into 10th place. Campbell right now on only a 15-lap stint, 87 to 102. Very brief so far compared to absolutely everyone else. 48 laps to go. Nate Campbell now going to see Cody Smith. Smith on the high side. He's going to be passed real easy. Nate is making waves. He just got by Randy Fiash as well. Still watching out for when Blake Cannon decides it is time. With 47 laps to go, it's quite the shock that he is still going at it. And he's decided not to come down to pit road. Cannon is leading Smith, Cato, Mahan, and Gallagher, the only 5 holdouts on the lead lap. It looks like right now you'll see Kyle Trudell heading up top, and these guys on old tires are really facing a beatdown. The Tide Ride getting a chance up to 5th, qualified 23rd today, gaining 18 positions on the night. Aaron Eads is now 1 lap down, and Eads is a holdout, so he's very likely going to be cycled further back as the race progresses. He's got that front end dent, and then from there, Brian Greenlee in the number 38. Well, you see him there, 7th place as it stands, 26 to 7th, one of the final holdouts as well. Nate Campbell is making waves. Take a ride on board now with the 45 and see what new tires can do for the field. Campbell at the line, you see he's made multiple passes in each of the past 3 consecutive laps. Now he's got clean air again. Still, we're waiting on this number 44. Cannon might be trying to hold out. That's the big question here. He's got a lap up on Nate Campbell, and now it looks like instead of Cannon being put down later on, Nate Campbell would be in the position Ethan Lane was in 2023. 42 laps to go. He has to get on the lead lap, then make it all the way around to take the race lead. How would that be possible with such little time? Well, that remains the big question here for the 45 of Campbell, and I don't quite think he even knows the answer just yet. Nate's going to keep on moving. He's gotten up to 6th, but he's still not yet on the lead lap. He's got to first make it there for any chance at continued successes. Blake Cannon is now coming off of Thunder Alley at the same time as Campbell enters. Still a major difference of several seconds, not to mention the full lap between the two, but that time by, Blake Cannon ran a 25.562. All the while, it was Nate Campbell who ran a 24.506. He is a second faster each and every lap as it stands. At that pace, with 40 laps to go, Campbell would take the race lead and pass Blake Cannon. And right now, it shows that Cannon will hold out the rest of the way as long as possible. Side by side at the line for Campbell to get back on the lead lap. He'll take it now with 39 laps to go. Cannon now only can watch and wait. Nate Campbell is looking to replicate Ethan Lane's success last time we went here in 2023. It won't be easy, but that is the end goal now. Campbell wants to make up a full lap under green. Let's see now what he can do. The first stop on his way to the lead will be 5th place man Ross Cato. He concedes. He'll head down and in, and he'll take his final pit stop of the day, one of the longest holdouts of all. Then you'll have Josh Gallagher. While Cato now will slip off the lead lap, Josh Gallagher looks to be another of the holdouts who is deciding to go the distance here. 38 laps to go as it stands, gaining nearly 20 spots on the day. Gallagher seems content now in riding this wave until the end of it. And I think for Josh, it might be one of the best possible things he can do in keeping a majorly successful day on the positive side. 37 laps to go as he comes now right across the front straightaway. Nate Campbell's gotten closer, but is still 6 seconds off of getting up to Gallagher. We watch this battle, but you got to keep in mind everyone else here is still battling for position. Nicholas Ward is getting in there with Ross Cato and Zach Scrinthal. Zach is just ahead of Ross now. Ward, finding himself just behind the number 20, he's gotten closer and closer. Gap is going to be a car length and a half as it stands. Then you'll have Nolan Potter coming through. Potter is going to be toe-to-toe with Sam Nieto. 35 laps remaining. Potter right now runs 8th. Sam Nieto 9th. Kyle Trudell in the 10th position here. We're coming up to less than 30 laps remaining, and it looks like following some early scuffles, the field has sorted things out well. And it comes down to that raw strategy game to see who's got what it takes to win it. Cody Smith is running in second here, and if he holds out all the way, even if Nate Campbell gets to him, it looks like there's a perfect opportunity to take an easy podium. Let's see what Cody Smith can do with it. Thunder Valley, of course, never comes easy to a driver, and the Rockingham Speedway has proven no exception for Smith, but he's made multiple trips here and is getting these extra laps in to prepare for what's next. The Integrity Ignite Series next Monday night will head to this venue. That's also going to be an exciting showing, so watch out for the field as they head back at it. 33 laps to go this time by. Watching and waiting. Nate Campbell has gotten by Zach Scrintonall. Josh Gallagher is up next. The gap between those two drivers now is within 2 seconds. Randy Fiash is one of the guys who stands in Campbell's way. Fiash in the 54 here. It's one of those lappers, easy to pass. But we'll see what happens now with Josh. Josh in the 96 that time by ran a 26.401. Nate Campbell was a full second faster, 1.3 seconds faster as a matter of fact. That he ran a 25.116. Blake Cannon, mind you, ran a 26.146 and is still more than a second a lap slower. And that's going to be a significant issue. Even with these lap machines all over the place, they don't serve as good enough roadblocks because everyone is slowing down fundamentally more each and every time by. Nate Campbell now coming up on Gallagher. There's Ross Cato. Cato's fighting to get his lap led back. His lead lap status will be, of course, relinquished if he can get by Cannon. But now that gives Campbell an opportunity. He'll put Josh Gallagher in the dust. And as a result, Gallagher down to 5th. Campbell up to P4. Woody Mahan, the next stop on the journey. He is 11 seconds behind Blake Cannon and ever increasing. And while that gap slowly grows, Nate Campbell is the only driver reining in the pack ahead. Each and every lap, each and every minute, that number 45 is coming through. The gap is now 14 seconds when 5 minutes ago it was a full lap apart between he and Blake Cannon. Cannon has committed to the bit now, of course, of staying out long, and it looks like it will harm him, and it might be an immeasurable harm at that. Woody Mahan, 12th to 3rd, +9 on the day here, and it looks like that number 49 might have to lose one in this exchange. Nate Campbell's getting closer, 4th to 4th, so he breaks even now with where he qualified, but he's got a strategy that we've seen win before. Green flag pursuit of the lead, 27 laps remaining. Campbell's back inside the podium, 11 seconds to gain. He's got the pace to go the distance. Cannon just has to keep on moving, but it won't be easy. 26 laps to go. Blake, Cody, Nate. Gap 11.4 seconds. And it looks like currently everyone's working it out just fine. Nate Campbell, the best of all, trying to make it a gap of less than 10 seconds across the stripe this time by. It looks like he's got the potential to do so. 25 laps to go. We come 24 laps remaining with, of course, Blake Cannon at the helm. Here comes Matt Sisler, one of the lappers, looking to get his lead lap status back. And there goes the number 93. 13 drivers are now on the lead lap. You'll see Gallagher finds himself the last of which as he concedes and heads down a pit road. It looks like he's not going to hold out any longer. Cody Smith is now 2.5 seconds off of Blake Cannon, but Nate Campbell is now just about 8.6 seconds away. He shaved off 1.4 on that last lap. Nearly a second and a half in just 1 mile. Unbelievable gains right now for the 45, and with shades of Ethan Lane, he's got the advantage, and it looks like he will be the race-winning favorite. In accordance with strategy, 23 laps to go this time by, becomes 22 laps remaining, and as always, we'll crank it up with Whiplash Sim Cams. Check out their social medias for a chance to try out their cameras for free, no licensing fee necessary, $5 per track or car camera set. Thank you again to Pit Stop TV for welcoming us to the Whiplash SimCams family. Let's crank it up now with 22 laps to go from Rockingham. Here we go again. It's crunch time for the win. $18 laps to go. Blake Cannon has to watch his back. Nate Campbell is there, and he's within 2.5 seconds at the line this time by. The gap will only be a 1.5 seconds. He's made up a lap under green and is significantly faster than the entire field. Now to finish the job. Execution becomes everything as the field gets set to finish it off. Only 17 laps to go. Campbell up on the wall as high as he possibly can be. He's been quicker for the past 25 laps, and the gap becomes smaller and smaller. Cannon across the line, only able to run a 26.11, 25.1 that time by for Campbell. It is a full second consistently gained across each and every lap, and what a gain it is. He's been at that pace now for the past 25 plus, getting closer to 30, and that's why he's caught up quickly to Blake Cannon. Randy Fiash putting pressure on the outside of Cannon, quarter panel to quarter panel. Campbell's there. Watch now as the number 45 looks for the race lead. The gap is 0.3 seconds. Campbell rolls well out of turn 2 to 3 and 4. This could be for the win now. Campbell looks low. Blake Cannon defends on the high side, but he does not have the tire nor the pace to make it stick. Across the line for the first time in more than 70 laps, Campbell has the lead. They'll go total contact up the track. Your leaders wreck each other for the second time tonight. Campbell and Blake Cannon are destroyed with 14 laps to go. Just as we thought Campbell would be able to make it happen, he slides up into Blake Cannon, and Cannon finishes him off. Unbelievable. Sam Nieto gets contact too. Nate Campbell spent an entire stint catching up, gaining a full lap, and as soon as he makes the pass, makes one small mistake, game over. Sam Nieto drops to the bottom of the circuit. Coming with Sam Nieto, he's going to have to repair damage, and this is it. Everyone comes in for new rubber to finish the job. You'll see Nick Tarbuck, Chad Dillon, they'll stay out. You'll see Josh Gallagher as well, trying to get some laps back, but the rest of the field decides to make it through. Nate Campbell missing his stall significantly there. You'll see Sam Nieto getting up to the front. Now to find out who can make it out first. We might see a two-tire strategy call made. You'll see Campbell getting to his stall here. Finally making it in. All the while, Jared Davis makes it out first. Your pole sitter for the first time since lap 1. Of course, getting right there. He makes it out and in. Now it looks like, according to timing and scoring, with Davis making it in late, your race leader will be Nicholas Ward. Ward getting it up in front, and the 97 seeing Davis rescind his race leading opportunity. The 97 to the points. We talked to him last week in the Ignite Series. He was looking for an opportunity to make it happen. Try to get up there and win. It's been more than 5 years now. He told us it was more than 6 years, as a matter of fact, since his last Integrity Racing League victory. Now, when we go green, he'll have 10 laps and 10 miles to finish the job and return to victory lane. Never has Nicholas Ward brought away a podium finish in the Octane Series, and only once has he done so in the Ignite Series, but he did it last week. Pace car period extended. We'll have 9 laps remaining when we return to green. Kyle Trudell lines up on the high side. Cody Smith, Galen Gidman, the second row from bottom to top. The field is ready for a sprint to victory. Nicholas Ward has an opportunity presented to him now that might not come for the entire season. Twice so far, we've seen the leading pair wreck each other. Lap 1 and lap now 141. 2 different scenarios, 4 drivers in those 2 pairs, and that gives us another new grouping up in front. I will have to say this much though. Cody Smith is looking good today. He has been the de facto 3rd best man, and now with those top 2 out, number 18's got a shot. Nicholas Ward to take the lead. 9 more laps. Here we go again. Green flags out. The 97 pulls through. Kyle Trudell in that number 7 takes second place immediately. Swaps down to the bottom side. Cody Smith has it in 3rd. And so now we are racing to the checkered flag. The heat is on. Ward has the race lead. For a driver who has been waiting so long for this opportunity, it's a shocker that in 2 weeks, he's had more chances in the top 3 than we've seen from him in the past 2 years. Finishing 3rd in Kentucky, contact further back, Galen Gidman in the wall, Ross Cato drives down low. Both drivers make it out, but there is damage. That'll give Don Stevenson a shot up high. Meanwhile, up to the front, Kyle Trudell does not want to give this one up. 7 laps to go. The number 7 runs second. Nicholas Ward has an advantage here, but you gotta watch out for Cody Smith. Smith has been quicker throughout the entire race than both Trudell and Ward. Now he'll look low again for second. Side by side, can't quite make it stick. Kyle Trudell is going to lay back. Nicholas Ward is going to do what Blake Cannon did to start the race if he wants the opportunity to win. Getting close to laying that bumper, though. The number 7 is right there again. 5 laps to go. 5 more miles. Ward is looking to bring it back to victory and snap a half-decade of winlessness. Trudell, the rookie, cares for none of that. Here comes the 7 to the inside of 3 and 4. 4 to go. Nicholas Ward is going to surge on the high side. He'll have just enough now to keep it side by side, but with Trudell lurking down on the bottom, it's a major run to the low side. Coming through Thunder Alley, Ward is fast enough now to keep Trudell at bay. He'll have a chance now to clear through 3 and 4. Trudell backs off. That will give Cody Smith a chance for second. If there's any opportunity now for Smith to win, he'll have to make it by the ever-aggressive Kyle Trudell. That won't be easy, but to the inside, Trudell falls back further. 3 laps to go. Smith might be the last driver with a chance to take on Nicholas Ward. This is what it all comes down to. 2 more miles. Nicholas Ward is putting years of winlessness on the line tonight. If he has any opportunity now to close it off, he better hope for no mistakes. But Cody Smith, he's just looking to find himself back to victory lane. He's done it in the past 2 seasons consecutively, and now he's only 15 100ths of a second off with 1 lap to go. Nicholas Ward sees to the outside. Cody Smith going high. He'll block the 18. Smith surges on the top. Now Cody Smith looks down low. The Next Level Racing Chevrolet has no use but to back it into the corner. Ward goes high. Smith goes higher. Rolling the top side, it will be no use. Nicholas Ward, for the first time in 6 years, wins in the Integrity Racing League. It's his first career Octane Series win, and with fortune and great defense comes a long-awaited victory. Ward is finally back to victory lane. Can you believe it? 2 pairs of winners wrecking each other. 2 pairs of leaders wrecking each other. And finally, Ward is a winner in the Octane Series. An undeniably hard-fought race for this 97, qualified 11th, and who would have thought after his best ever Ignite Series finish, he would back it up with another amazing performance tonight, let alone a race win. Nicholas Ward is your winning man from Rockingham. He leads the final 13 laps, and those are certainly the ones that counted. Second place goes Cody Smith, with third Nolan Potter, Kyle Trudell in fourth, Zach Scrinthenoll in fifth, Ross Cato P6, Don Stevenson 7th, John DeBarro 8th, Bobby Keith in 9th, and Galen Gidman rounding out the top 10. 11th place on the order then will go to Jared Davis, recovering from that first lap incident from your pole position. 12th place is then going to be Josh Gallagher, Sam Nieto 13th, Richard Smith 14th place, 15th goes then to Kevin Bernheimer, and Matt Jonas goes 16th spot on the order. You'll see Woody Mahan in 17th and 18th to Aaron Eads, with Matt Sizzler and Brian Greenlee rounding out the top 20. 21st place is Randy Fiash with Eli Cars 22nd, Chad Dillon 23rd, Nate Campbell 24th, Blake Cannon then in 25th. 26th place goes goes to Nick Tarbuck, 27th Sean Kalist, 28th Jay Haishman, 29th Ryan Bean, and P30 to Ethan Lane. Your final two drivers on the order tonight, early retirees in Daniel Foss and Brian Perry, the number 62. Ward is back on the podium, and tonight it's more than just a third place finish. What a race it was to get to this point, and what a victory for the 97 crew. Nicholas Ward has been waiting for this opportunity. The last time he was this close was a year and a half ago at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Another fast, high-bank circuit plays out in his favor. Nicholas Ward, for the second time in 2 weeks, you're on the Integrity Racing League podium, and for the first time in years, as you mentioned, you're a winner, getting the job done tonight in Rockingham. What a resurgence.
Yeah, that was oh boy. My heart was pounding that last 10 laps or whatever it was. That was an awesome night, awesome race out here. I wasn't expecting to come out here and win the dang thing, I mean, that pit strategy, I was expecting like 5th, 6th place, and I was going to be happy, but come out of pit road there with the lead and being able to fend it off there that last 10 laps was definitely something. And boy, way to end a 6-year drought, I think, since the last time we won over here in Integrity.
Tonight was all about the unpredictable, and I want to first talk about the end of this race for you, where you won it, and then we'll talk about strategy. 13 laps you led tonight, all of them coming back-to-back at the end. You had to fend off Cody Smith and Kyle Trudell, some of the best cars all night long. How was it for you in working the grooves to make it stick?
Yeah, so that was the thing is like those guys were really good at rolling that top, and that wasn't something that I'd really played with at all tonight. Practice throughout the race, I was really trying to stay to the bottom, but I knew the only way to hold off, especially against Kyle, and then even more so when Cody was able to get around Kyle, was that I was going to have to go up there and fend off that top lane because they just get such a run down the straightaways. And it was a great battle there with Kyle, and then an even better battle there, I felt like, with Cody that last lap coming down the front straightaway. I know it probably wasn't as close as it felt like, but it felt like it was way closer than what I wanted it to be. It's just exciting, coming off of pit road with the lead and being in front of some of the best guys around out here and being able to fend it off. It's quite a way to cap the night.
And looking back on the race in total, we had long green flag runs, strategic calls being made all around, pit stop, of course. When everyone came through that final time, that was the big ticket. How was it for you in managing those long stints and deciding when to go through? It looks like you, like so many, decided to split that final green flag stint before very last yellow flag.
Yeah, I mean, tire management was, I wasn't the best, right? I mean, early on, I kind of settled into 5th or so, and eventually those front 4 guys started driving away, and I kind of ended up in an island by myself, and I didn't know what to change to fix that. I felt like when we, like you said, we had that long green flag run with the green flag stops, and I don't know exactly how we split it, if it was half or whatever it was, but I just felt like the earlier we could get there, the better position we were going to be in. If we stayed green, and if we didn't stay green, if we got that lap back, we were going to be set up pretty good. It was all about trying to take care of that right rear, really tonight, which I didn't have as much problems with the right rear. It ended up actually being more so probably right front problems for me, probably from trying to protect that right rear. But it was, I don't know, it was something.
And on a broader scale, because the Integrity Ignite Series is coming to Rockingham just next week, and of course the schedule continues for the Octane Series as we head next to Darlington. You're riding high with some great finishes in both of these series, and of course finally snapping the drought to return to victory lane in 2025. How do you feel about all this momentum coming up for the next weeks where we're heading to some familiar tracks for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the momentum's going to be a good thing to carry us forward. Last night was an 11th, whatever. But like you said, we're going to Rockingham to next week in Ignite, and I think that'll be good. Hopefully, we can run up here towards that podium positions again. Maybe we can sweep the Rockingham for the year. Fingers crossed there. But a top 3, top 5 would be awesome there. But looking forward to the rest of the season. We've got some pretty good tracks. Darlington is fairly decent for us, but we start getting into some of the better tracks for myself. I know we go to Indy soon in Ignite, and I look forward to that. And I think this momentum is going to help carry us forward. The win here definitely helps with locking us into the playoffs, making that a little bit less stressful. I know we were sitting like 13th in points, but a win definitely helps there, not having to worry about that and being able to maximize points the rest of the season and get ready for the playoffs.
Strong runs and a victory in Rockingham, keeping the good times for the 97 crew. Nicholas Ward, if you have any final comments you'd like to leave us with, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I just want to thank all the admins out here for Integrity Racing League and the Octane Series for putting on a great show. Thank our sponsor Chevrolet and Universal's Epic Universe for being on the hood of the car, and then our sponsors for the series, Next Level Racing I'm drawing a blank here. So overwhelmed with everything. But just thank all the sponsors and everything for a wonderful series that we have going on here and everything. So Sim Motion, sorry, that's our other sponsorship. And of course, thank you for these broadcasts you put on. They're wonderful. Appreciate going back, watching, seeing how everything progresses throughout the race. And thank you.
Nicholas Ward, what a job tonight in finding victory lane. Thank you again for your time and congratulations on the win. With Ward on the move, let's speak next to your second-place driver. That is the number 18 of Cody Smith. Smith today was strong from beginning to end, and we were watching him, and he had a real good shot at taking the win, only for the defense of Ward to be just a little stronger, and that proved to be the difference maker. Cody Smith, tonight you qualified 13th, but I'm sure you were in the top 5 for more than half of this race from what we saw. You were competitive, kept it up front, and you had a real shot to make it work at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to finally talk to you again. I don't like this. I always like racing this track, but I've never been good here at Rockingham. I don't know what it is, but something tonight I was really, really good on the long run. Came through the field on that one long run pit cycle. I probably could have finished top 5. I don't think I had a chance to win, so decided to just run it out. I had 2 laps of fuel left when that caution happened, so that definitely helped give me an actual shot to win the race. But that was fun. That was a lot of fun. The most fun I've ever had a race at this track for sure.
Although we had that short stint to finish it off, the strategy game today was as intense as it got. You were one of the guys who held out real long while Nate Campbell surged on newer rubber. You wanted to go the distance here. We've seen both strategies play out well. What influenced you in your call at the very end?
Yeah, really, I don't know if it was a good or bad call. It turned out to be okay. I was about to have to pit. I wasn't going to be able to make it on fuel. So I had kind of boxed myself in, and once we got to, I don't know, 30 or so to go, it was kind of like at this point, I've got 15 laps of fuel left. Let's just kind of run it as far as we can. So really, initially, it started off just trying to be a little bit off cycle, and then it was like, well, if we get a caution, this would really put me in a good spot. It went a lot longer than I was kind of hoping it would. But yeah, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to it other than just try to get off sequence because I wasn't going to win. I wasn't going to catch Blake just if we ran it straight out. So that's kind of what I was trying to do.
And of course, it all came down to the final run, which interrupted that long strategy. You seem to be quick on both the short and long runs, so I'll have to ask you, do you think you had it better for those short stints, or was the distance where you were hoping for?
Yeah, definitely a long run. If I could have picked, we'd have had a 60, 70 lap run to the end. I was flying on that last long run when I think I went from, I don't know, 15th to 3rd, something like that before that cycle started, or right when that cycle started. So definitely better in the long run. The short run was good there at the end. I really, I tried to get to towards right rear there going into one on the last lap. I thought if I could pin him on the bottom, I'd get by him, but he just shut it off. I wasn't there yet. And, excuse me. Perfect block by him, perfect race by him, or perfect ending at least. I'm glad we were able to keep it clean to the finish as well. That was a lot of fun, that last 10 laps or 9 laps, whatever that was at the end.
And it was hard-fought racing to the checkered, and it takes you up to second place. Now, we'll be going racing next in the Octane Series at the virtual Darlington Raceway. An exciting circuit as always, but before we head down to South Carolina and also head to Rockingham again next Monday, if you have any final comments you'd like to leave us with, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. Love this kind of stretch of the schedule. Darlington's a lot of fun. If the setup's right, that can be a really, really fun track. Generally can have some pretty good launch speed on there. I know Ethan's really good there, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll try next week here again in the Xfinity car. I have to make sure we thank Next Level Racing for everything they do for the league, Sim Motions as well, and then you, Dave, coming out every week. It's always awesome to be able to go watch it back, and everyone that watches it live, got to thank everybody there. So hopefully I'll be talking to you soon. You guys have a good one.
Cody Smith, second place on the day and a chaotic finish to the line running toward P2 here in Rockingham. Thank you again for stopping by.
Thank you, Dave.
Cody Smith takes the middle step on the podium tonight, but of course it ends off well for our third place driver with his new career best finish. Nolan Potter, for the first time, brought up to the Octane Series podium booth. Welcome in, Nolan. Third place and a strong run from beginning to end for this number 34.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Great to have you here. First and foremost, we'll start from the beginning. You qualified ninth. We saw early troubles for the leaders, and that sent you up higher into the top 5 conversation, and you really didn't leave it from there.
Yeah, I actually got a little bit tapped and slid up the track a little bit, dropped me back to about 15th or so. So that was within probably the first 30 laps. So I felt like I was kind of battling from there, trying to keep the tires under me to get back to the front.
Talk about tires, of course. Major degradation on the day. And we noticed sunny out as well on the circuit. Looked like it was a little bit troublesome for drivers to keep grip. Did you face those troubles as well?
Yeah, I actually felt like I was overdriving it a little bit, getting into the corner. So I felt like I was burning the right front off a little bit worse than a lot of people. And then pushing and having a push hook coming off, making it loose coming off. So definitely a difficult track, definitely a fun track. It was definitely interesting. I haven't ran this track since I think ARCA early on in iRacing. So definitely a fun time, and look forward to coming back to here at some point.
And of course, it's a yearly fixture on the schedule. Hopefully there's a chance to return next year. We're taking it from one of the smaller, more hectic tracks to a more familiar one on the Cup schedule in the Darlington Raceway. Tires are still going to mean an awful lot now, so I'd have to ask you, you think anything from this week can transfer over to the next?
Yeah, you got to really save the right rear at Darlington. So not my cup of tea usually. So just gonna have to do some work this week and kind of figure out how to back myself off a little bit and save the tires.
It's all about holding on to that equipment. Nolan Potter doing a great job of that today. If you have any final comments or shout-outs you'd like to send out, we'd love to hear it.
Thank you to our sponsors of the league. Thank you for letting us join the league. It's been a great time so far, and thank you for the great broadcast.
Nolan Potter, third place on the day here from Rockingham. Thank you once again for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you.
With Potter on the move, you've gotten the word now from all of our top 3 drivers. It was a 13-lap shootout that made the difference today here in the Rock. And third place finisher, Nolan Potter. Second place from there, Cody Smith. And your race winner, snapping 6 years of winlessness, Nicholas Ward. It's been a long time coming, and it finally comes to fruition. The checkered flag is his. Nicholas Ward gets the job done. With that said, we're going to be going next in the Integrity Racing League back to Rockingham next Monday night. And immediately after, next Tuesday, we'll be heading to the Darlington Raceway to keep the good times rolling. North Carolina, we're going to first, and of course, Darlington and Virginia up next. Our next broadcast will be tomorrow. It'll be a special presentation of the Outlaw Dirt Series and their Sportsman Showdown. We're bringing some dirt racing to the channel. It's going to be an exciting event. We hope to see you there. And then the Iora Cup Series and Highline Racing League return immediately after the fact. That will be on Thursday night. However, until then, you've been watching coverage today from the virtual Rockingham Speedway and the Integrity OCTANE Series in their 7th race of 2025. I've been David Kreutz, commentating and producing, and if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like on is always greatly appreciated. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Congratulations to race winner Nicholas Ward. We'll see you next week with more coverage of the Integrity OCTANE Series, and we hope you had a fantastic night.